Alright, so an American and a Brit review for Adolescence. So finally got around to watching Adolescence yesterday, and let me just say that um, the first two episodes really get you, only for the third episode to lose all of its momentum just by kind of meandering a bit, and then it just nosedives into like fallacy, easy answers, cliches, and it takes something promising and then it just takes a hot shit all over it. And it's kind of what I like to call social drama bait. Like, don't get me wrong, controversial opinion, when a lot of crime dramas are published, oftentimes it's kind of easy because it's basically like trauma porn, you know what I mean? You can kind of do this, oh, it sucks that the criminal did this, and then 180 and like, oh, but fuck him anyway, he's still bad. And I feel like that's kind of what they did to Jamie. What the fuck is his name in the? It's not Jamie Smith. It's Jamie something in the film, in the picture. Uh, and Well, it starts off as an intriguing and complicating storyline about some little runtish, scrawny student who only spoilers ahead, mind you. With that in mind, all right. Some scrawny kid that meant to menace this girl with a knife, but instead ended up going full Monty and just, sticking her 5 times or so. And I just, to put it in American terms, I don't get what you wanted us to see, because at first we feel it so much, and the kid keeps swearing that he's innocent. So then the assumption is, oh, maybe, if he's that adamant, the situation's gonna be a lot more complicated. Like maybe he had a meetup with her, and that they were actually lovers or something, but he didn't want it to anymore. And then after that, something else happened to her and she died, and this guy's getting framed because of like social whatever. That would have been a lot cooler to me. And instead, I think now would be a good time more than ever to point out that there's this kind of industrial complex now of like progressive media. So this is just another piece of the puzzle in like this giant slop of like public PSA. Because this honestly feels like an after school special. Episodes 1 and 2 feel really fucking dope. They feel like an intriguing something. And then episodes 3 and 4 just feel like a fucking PSA about crime is bad and the manosphere bad, and it only gets worse because like when there's something so poignant to say about being scrawny or being buff, being weak or being tough, and like doing all this other stuff, we don't know about Jamie's dad. We don't get to learn anything about Jamie. They just kind of spout this Andrew Tate garbage, and that becomes the wank kind of focus for the rest of the film. I mean, well, it's a series, but still, um, any kind of depth that they could have explored with Jamie's character is automatically thrown out of the window, and any kind of explanation goes out the window when he, well, what the British would say is like when he menaces the social worker. But for an American, obviously that means when he kind of checks her. He does that 1 foot forward thing and he pulls his arms back. And if you're from the States, you know what that is. That's basically like a, ooh, scared you kind of thing, you know. And so in British terms, he menaces this woman, and we kind of see how scorned she is, and like then he just crumbles, and it's supposed to complete his character somehow, that he's like this tough but soft incel that's like fucked up in the head, and that was very lazy. Like episodes 1 and 2 build you up like maybe the woman who died was also a bully and therefore not this kind of like victim. But then by episode 3 we just throw that shit out of the window because it turns out, oh, Jamie is bad, men bad, Andrew Tate bad, this and that. Don't get me wrong, all of those things are bad, but you can't make it this lazy. This feels like like what your average internet activist would. I can't describe it as anything other than progressive wank. Like, like in all honesty, this just, and it's getting nominated for so many awards, and so many politicians are like, oh, I feel like this is very important to our time, and thank God I don't live in the UK, but like, you know, it's just garbage. And I understand you can take my opinion with a grain of salt, because I, after all, I am on the other side of the English Channel. Say what you will about the United States, that we're barbaric, that we're years behind socially Europe, and that we're, you know, to you guys ass backwards, even though you guys to us look like some hoity-toity wannabe progressive forward people, and yet you still have the same societal woes that we do, albeit just in more tamer versions. Like, handguns are a problem over there. Like, very seldom does anybody smuggle long guns into Europe, which to your European is not going to know what that means, but that's basically rifles, semi-auto rifles, and the like. And again, though, just to circle back, like, we hardly find out anything about his dad. Um, from the therapist session with Jamie, um, he he alludes to sometimes his dad gets mad and he tears down the shed, but what are we supposed to figure from that? Oh, he was bad. Jamie was bad. And then the dad, next episode, thinks that it sucks. And then they spray paint the word nonce on the dad's fucking van. Which, I'm sure a British person's probably gonna tell me I'm wrong, but I was always under of the other understanding that nonce was like a pedo or somebody like that. And to me, that's another storyline that just doesn't go. Why the fuck did they spray paint nonce on the fucking dad's van, or they did whatever? That, like, they're like, oh, maybe it has something to do with Jamie, and then that's just unresolved, and just the whole thing ends in a very stupid way. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the whole thing is just garbage and stupid. It just, if you're the kind of person that spends all day saying men suck and reposting the examples that you think men should be, but without doing any of the outreach to men that don't agree with you, it's basically, this movie's for you. Like, it's a full send. Like, it's awesome, right? Men, don't do that. Don't be bad, right? Don't be like Jamie. But yet, that lesson falls flat because what the fuck did we learn about not being like Jamie? Like, if anything, the only thing that it really conveys is that it's a crime of passion, and that in the story, which is something I never agree with in real life, and I always tell people not to do, whenever people go to intimidate people with weapons, that's never gonna end up well. But if that's the lesson, that's a pretty stupid lesson. Like, of course, don't go intimidate people, don't go strong arming people with knives and or firearms, or hell, anything really. It's just, once you have that in your hand, the decisions you will make after that aren't any better, and they just get worse, like exponentially worse. There's that old Italian movie where the guy gets a gun and he thinks he's a badass and then gets in trouble. And that's pretty much what I think of every time I think about guns anyway. Even as a Second Amendment person, I'm not like gung-ho to have that fucking thing on me all the time, you know. And that's my half. See, that's the thing. The whole thing seems like it's wank. The whole thing has got fuck all to do with Jamie, and the rest of it is just a. If I could, if I could, if I could double down on what my colleague has said, I would say that the whole thing is just wagging their finger. I mean, think about it. After he, he kind of vaguely admits to the crime, we don't see Jamie anymore. The rest of it is about his dad and his mom and his sister. And even then, what does he do? The dad at the end kisses the teddy bear and he apologizes to Jamie, and that's it. Are you alright? Is that what we're supposed to get? Is that what we're supposed to get from this? Is that what someone's supposed to gather? Is that basically, first of all, the dad and his accent? Let's start with that. Just kidding. Let's finish with that, and then let's move on. I mean, the whole thing is mad. It's it's honestly just shallow. If you ever wondered why Europe is having trouble with fascism and right wing ideology, is just because all of this left wing shite has got kind of stale, isn't it? I mean, we've been doing circles and nothing seems to get done, and that's just because people can't really accept the other side of the coin. Think about it. We learned that Jamie's getting bullied, and then what? His school is shit. The teachers are overworked. All of this is similar to some real life problems, but then none of that comes to a head. We never even follow the friend of the girl who's killed, who's slain by the knife. So then, what the fuck was the point of bringing her up at all? And then even the storyline with the cop's son, which shout out Ashley Walters from Top Boy and basically all the other stuff he does is alright. Top man. I was gonna say the performances are all good. Alright, the whole thing I'm having a laugh, right? This is a piss take. But that doesn't diminish what I have to say. Make fun of my accent, make fun of me, say I'm from the colonies, say I don't understand. It's the same shit, the world wrong, just different rules. Alright, but in all seriousness, Brits, Redcoats, Scots, the Irish, both sides of Ireland, the whole Commonwealth, even the bloody Kiwis. No, but in all seriousness, I would like to say that this has fuck all to do with Jamie, to put it in British terms. And to go back to American, I would just say that I'm really getting an afternoon school special with this. Like, I just did a British accent. You can like fucking make fun of it or whatever. But like, truth be told, though, what are we not like? All right, so Europe, the United Kingdom, and as well as New Zealand, Australia, you guys have this progressive being ahead of America. America's a younger country, violent. So of course, take my opinion with a grain of salt. But even I see things that are cool. So there's a reason why you can't do Adolescence in the United States. And that's because Adolescence would have to be a lot more hardcore if it were in the United States. We'd get into gun crimes, shooting, dying. But that's, again, one of my chief and critical concerns is that it would have made for a lot cooler storyline if she survived but was gravely injured. And then we would see Jamie brush up against the law and having to deal with what he did, but able to come back from it. Because the whole thing is supposed to be poignant that his parents have a row at the end, and then they express their concern, but then what the fuck? They just fuck him off. They just say, "Did we do the best we can? I don't know, love," and then that's it. And he tucks the teddy bear in and he says, "I'm sorry, Jamie," and what the fuck are we supposed to get from that? The whole thing is wank. The whole thing is shite. The whole thing is just. And then the Guardian, and then the Guardian, and then the Guardian. But no, but in all seriousness, the Guardian like passing it off as like influential, and then the elected officials over in the UK saying that they passed policy for it. Honestly, why that doesn't faze me is that the same thing will happen here in the United States, and like a right wing representative will watch like some kind of right wing movie, and then they'll say, "This was very inspiring. I'm gonna pass policy to," you know what I mean? Like the whole thing happened. If you would like to see on the other side of the political spectrum, If you want an example, what happened with The Sound of Silence and that whole Republican hysteria of, oh my god, this movie really breaks the justice, we gotta pass legislation. And then you find out that the actual persons involved are like more of an affront to the real life investigations of human trafficking than they are any actual aid or guide or help or anything. And honestly, I'm drawing a long parallel. This is gonna be hard, but bear with me. Both of these are hollow representations of an actual life issue, and that's what sucks is that they seem kind of like a cheap grab at something that's very serious, with Sound of Silence being human trafficking and children and all that, illegal immigration or legal immigration rings, trafficking rings, Latin American countries, what have you. And that's more pertinent to the United States than, fuck all to do with Europe. But at the same side, at the same time, on the other end of the political spectrum, you have Adolescence, which is just progressive wank. It's made. I, and again, I'm repeating myself, but I cannot tell you how Jamie's a one-dimensional person. This is just what am I supposed to learn? Don't like Andrew Tate. Don't stab people. Don't be sexist. Like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure those are pretty fucking obvious. Those are bloody well obvious. But what else do you got? Well, I need something more than that. I'll say that all the actors involved did really good. But that's not to say you can have actors doing good in a shit movie. Just ask Denzel Washington in that Gladiator one. No, but in all seriousness, I can't get my head around how cringe that is. And I could just see like this thing winning some fucking BAFTAs or something. Like I could just see it, and I get it. Again, outsider criticizing from across the channel. Um, it's just, look, if I could tell you why it feels hollow to me, I will say this. Not only do we spend the whole time not giving a fuck about Jamie, once he admits it, the whole thing takes a huge right turn, and then we don't even learn it. We never, like I said before, we don't learn anything about the friend. We don't learn anything about the bullying angle. We don't learn any development about Ashley Walters and his fucking kid, which is D.I. whatever the fuck his name is. It's all one-dimensional. Jamie did it because he had to, because we don't like this, and it's bad, end of story, period. And like, the male loneliness, we never go deeper into that. Like, once episode 3 hits and Jamie has his little rage fits in front of his social worker, it all goes out the window. Anything that you could have had where you made him a more complex character, it just goes out and again, like I said before, I can't stop repeating myself, that I was waiting for a more complex storyline, something more poignant, something that had something more to say than incels bad, violence bad, being a lonely weirdo bad. Jamie fucked. Well, you fucked it, Jamie. That's it. Go fuck yourself. And like, he gets into fights, and then that's it. He's just the guy in jail. But like, knowing real life cases of people that get into trouble with the law, that it is very seldomly as portrayed as it is in this. This is almost like, I don't know, just again, I can't help but keep saying like a progressive's wet dream. Like, oh yeah, this just made the guys look bad and dumb. Like, the dad's unrealized as a character, but even then it also fails the women, because I think, alright, I get I'm in no position to ask, but where's the episode about his sister, about how his relationship with his sister would have set that up? Where is any of that? Where's his mom developed as a character? Where's the victim developed as her character? I thought it was gonna kind of dip into 13 Reasons Why territory, and we kind of would see whether or not she was a huge piece of shit as a person leading up to the events of her death. And then they don't even explain the death. It was, we get the breadcrumbed, and it is, I just wanted to intimidate her, but then it turned into that, and they got you on CCTV. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I don't know. I was holding out even after that footage shows him doing it because then, maybe that was, it's just one-dimensional portrayals like this is why the right is popular in Europe. It's this kind of one-sided phoniness that allows people to just, you know, like this is a movie to rally behind, and that's stupid because it's not true. And I know people in my circles, either British or American, would eat this up, and I personally I watched it and I still haven't gotten over how garbage it is. It's garbage. It's like knife crime as a real thing. Police and how they tear apart families and how they go about things. Like, we didn't even get an interesting arc with the DI. Is it DI Tracy? No, no, but like, whatever his name is, I wanted to see him. I thought a cool angle would be, which is what I was getting in the second episode, is that it's hard to enforce laws in a country that is like pro-citizen, which sounds fucked up, but I'm not trying to sound totalitarian or anything. I'm just saying that it's very weird to see that problem because in the United States, the problem is excess of force. But over here in the UK, it's like the opposite. Like, how can I actually put him away for a crime if he has all these legal protections as a citizen, which sounds awful when you say it like that. But oftentimes when you talk about the law, that's something that goes both ways. As much as I don't like what goes on in the United States, at least it makes it easy when somebody's doing something bad for the police to go after them, provided that that person doesn't have the resources to bribe anybody or like evade. You know what I'm saying? And in the UK, it's a little harder. It's like there's like the Privacy Act of 1980, or like the Act of 1977, and like you guys got all these citizen protections, and that's what I thought was interesting, especially when the DI has to chase the classmate. But then even that is anticlimactic. Like, he gets the knife off of him. It was that guy's knife, which I'm told you have to show ID to buy a knife, which is crazy because it's like for food. But again, I am privy to what goes on in the UK, and that's also fucked up. But again, like, we don't learn anything about his friends. We don't learn anything more about how they were bullied. We just learn that they were bullied, and in that sense, the movie kind of shows you how much it cares, and it really doesn't give a fuck. Not about Jamie, not about his two friends, not about his victim, not about his dad, or his mom, or their parents. The lawyer is what pisses me off the most, because you're telling me this criminal lawyer who's probably dealt with other young men who have killed before, who have done worse things before, is scared of Jamie. And like, once she was scared like that, I knew it was gonna go in another direction, and he had that violent outburst. And then what came after is, again, spoilers, warning, is he basically admits to doing the crime and then say, "Oh, I didn't say that, oh," and then she advises him to get a counsel, and then they just nosedive deeper into the incel stuff. And honestly, we made a huge jump from he was getting bullied but an incel to stabbing her, and like, it wants me to disagree with him, but in a sense he was almost right, just because of how badly this is written, that this woman was just probing him for answers, and he's supposed to be the bad guy because he's a 13-year-old who's just done a terrible crime, and I'm supposed to look down upon him. Again, I don't condone what he did, obviously, no sane person would, but people are obviously very upset because you wrote the damn story. You're the one making him jump from incel to this, to whatever, and honestly, it's just fucking stupid. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts on that.